What I'm telling you is you have to stop waiting for permission. There is not a right time to make your move. If you keep waiting for that move, it's never going to happen. You got to make something happen. And so when my kids typed in my passcode wrong about 18 million times, all right, it reminded me, if I were to wait for my phone to be disabled, all right, I'd be dead. Actually, my kids would probably be dead as well. All right, so you can't wait. You just got to go and you have to take the plunge and make it happen. So I'm challenging you to be great, and I'm challenging you to find that, whatever it is that you do. Okay, so it comes down to growth mindset here a little bit. I'm not going to go into all that because I know you drill you to death that middle school of growth mindset, habits of mind. All right, but you got to get your mind right. So my daughter's in second grade. Every day on her planner, she writes down one thing that she's learned every single day. Still does it. All right, and I love it. Sometimes I question what she's learning, and she'll write down different things, but every day she has something down. Okay? Now, my son puts this down. All right? And I used to get really upset. I was like, how have you learned nothing? He's like, oh, I just sit in school all day, I don't do anything, school's boring, only class for athletic or lunch and PE. And I was getting mad that the educator was going, well, I gotta talk to this teacher. And then I started realizing, no, it's not the teacher. This is on him. And I sat him down and I said, son, how can this happen? You were in school 8 hours a day and you haven't learned one thing. That's on you. That's your fault. That's a mindset where he's refusing to take something from the day. Sometimes you have to sit and grind. There's classes that you don't like. There's jobs that you don't want to do. Maybe there's chores, or there's community service, or whatever it is that you do. There's just things in life we don't like. But you got to be able to take something away from it. All right? And if you're going to put that much time into something, you better be able to. So you got to pay attention to details. And so I want to talk about this guy. This is Steve Johnson. He's my high school coach, or was my high school coach, back in Indiana where I played. And he was meticulous for details. We would get in trouble if our socks were misaligned, if our socks were the same height off our shoe, if our jerseys weren't tucked in the same way, if your hair was over 2 inches, he made you cut it right there with a pair of scissors in the locker room. If you had any facial hair, he made you shave without water and without shaving with this old rickety big razor. And you did that one time and you never did it again. And every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. we had MTXE practices. This was his motto. It was on everything. It stands for mental toughness, extra effort. But it's about the details. All right? And I'm not here to talk about sports because for 4 years he gave us out every time in our binder. All great athletes have one thing in common in practice. But that applies to being a good friend and being a good son or daughter and being a good student, or drama, or music, or art, or whatever it is that you do. You've got to put time in. And with that, when you have people that make you better, it's even more important that you let them know. So this is a letter that I wrote him a couple years ago. I found out he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. I had no idea, he didn't tell anybody. And so I wrote this letter, and I sent it off, and I don't know if he read it or not. By the time it would have arrived, with about a 20-hour window, he died. But I hated Coach Johnson in high school. We all did. We hated him with a passion. Because we didn't like it. We didn't like anything that he stood for. But as I got older, I realized how important it was. And he literally saved my life. I was going in a bad spot my sophomore year with some bad people doing a lot of bad things. And I remember he pulled me out of photography class one day. And I had like Goodwill clothes on, and I had long hair over 2 inches, and I had all these necklaces. And I had made the declaration that I wasn't going to play basketball, which is a pretty bold statement in Indiana. People live and breathe basketball, and that's all I did. That's kind of what I was known for. And I remember he grabbed all 5 necklaces around my neck, and he was like, "What is this?" And he's in my face. And he's always known for spitting when he talks. And he shoved me back, and he points me in the chest. And he says, "You're a quitter. You are a quitter. You're a disappointment. If you can't handle MTXE, and you can't handle the pride of being a Charger, and you don't want to work hard, and you want to do this crap," and he has a few other words, and he went on for like 5 minutes. And I remember I had to walk back into photography class, and everybody heard it, and everybody was laughing and hollering. And the guys that I was running with were like, he's stupid, don't worry, you don't need him. But the thing that stood out to me in that whole time is that he called me a quitter. And I remember thinking, I'm not a quitter. And so I remember telling my mom, I'm going out for basketball for one reason, to prove that I'm not a quitter. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to show him. And really, I think about it, that's really dumb. That's really what he wanted me to do in the first place, to go out for basketball. But it got me back on the right path. And to make a long story short, if you have those people that are helping you, make sure you let them know. I don't know that he ever got to know the impact that he had on me, because in high school, we treated him like crap.